Now, so a rocket is essentially a self-propelling vehicle. How do we provide such high velocities? We have multi-stage rockets, okay? At every stage, a certain portion is ejected off, its mass reduces, and then it accelerates further and further. To place a satellite in a geostationary orbit, I'll quickly tell you in a minute I'll tell you what a geostationary orbit is. We require an energy which corresponds to a change in velocity of 11 kilometers per second, which is a very huge number. We do this stage by stage by using a multi-stage rocket. There's no use providing this energy at the surface of the earth because of the friction, much of it will be killed. Therefore, you increase it after it leaves the Earth's atmosphere. Okay. Geosynchronous orbit. What is a geosynchronous orbit? When the radius is 42,164 kilometer, an object rotates, if it rotates from west to east like the Earth, then its movement is synchronous with that of the Earth. Then it appears stationary. Then it's possible for us to locate images. For example, if the satellite is launched by Indian Space Research Organization, we can ensure that it always looks at India so that we can look at the weather, we can look at other things in detail. This is called a geostationary or a geosynchronous orbit. So the radius of the Earth is 6378 kilometers. So the radius of the orbit will be 42,164. So the geosynchronous altitude is about 35,786 kilometers above the Earth. So imagine the satellite has to put something in an orbit which is at a height of 36,000 kilometers. Okay, so we use it using the GSLV, the geostationary satellite launch vehicle, with which India has not had complete success. We have had mixed success. Okay. However, it is possible for us to put a satellite into orbit at a lower height. That is called a LEO, low Earth orbit. But the problem with the low Earth orbit is two things. Basically, since it is not synchronous with the rotation of the Earth, you cannot look at the same place 24 hours a day. So it will look at various portions of the Earth, okay, in a particular day. And second, because at 700 kilometers, we cannot say that there is no atmosphere at all. There will be a drag force and eventually it will try to come closer and closer to the Earth. Therefore, we have to fire rockets and push the orbit up higher and higher. Okay? If you put a satellite in a geostationary orbit at 36,000 kilometers, then there is a finite life to the equipment on board. Suppose, let's say the mission life is 5 years or 7 years and so on. After that, what do you do? Theoretically, the satellite will keep going around, but we will not get any useful thing because all the cameras, other things, the solar cell, all the other things have all gone kaput, they are all gone. So what do you do now? You give a missed call and ask it to come back, or what do you do? Huh? Very difficult to make it fall, man. Simply it will keep rotating. Okay? What you do is you have some 1 or 2 additional rocket thrusters. Then from 36,000 kilometers, you push it out to 45,000 or 50,000 kilometers so that it is not in the path of other useful satellites which are operating at 36,000 kilometers. So if you push it to a height of 45,000 or 50,000 kilometers, you're essentially putting this into what is called a graveyard orbit. So that is all the fellows who have finished their life, they'll all be moving around in that altitude. So that this 36,000 kilometer altitude, it is free for satellites which are operational to go around. Okay. So this is a big story. I can talk to you about this for orbital mechanics for 1 or 2 hours. Okay. Multi-stage rocket. So you do it in stages so that you are able to accomplish. So medium payloads 1000 kgs to geosynchronous transfer orbit, that is GTO, 3000 kgs to a low Earth orbit. So the Indian space program, the PSLV, the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, which can launch satellites into the low Earth orbit, which I told you, which can be typically 300 to 1000 kilometers height. We had very good success. The Chandrayaan was also launched using a PSLV XL. Yeah. So now, next slide. Now, if you want to put something into geostationary or a geosynchronous transfer orbit, you have to use there's a heavy payload of 2000 to 2500 kilograms. Therefore, you have to use the GSLV, the Geostationary Satellite Launch Vehicle. So, India has had 7 launches so far. So, 3 launches have been failures. The last launch on 25th Christmas Day, 25th December 2010 was also a failure. So, people are working out, but I think we'll eventually succeed, right? Has somebody explained to you about this? No. I'll close.
2 minutes if you want to.
Okay, so the PSLV launched it and put it into a geosynchronous transfer orbit GTO. Then what happens is, so it is an elliptical orbit. So it is once it reaches here, what you can do is, you can fire some more rockets and push the orbit further. Then this is called orbit raising or orbit pushing. So you keep on pushing the orbit, then you can increase this, and its height will increase, but it will be elliptical. At some portion it will be very close to the earth, at some portion it will be 30, 40,000, because the moon is at some 2,75,000 kilometers, right? So once it has reached a particular position, then it starts what is called the translunar injection. That is, you fire it in a way such that it approaches the moon, then it now goes into now it starts orbiting around the moon. Then what you do is, you slowly reduce the orbit such that from thousands of kilometers it comes very near, and when it comes very near, very close to the moon, then you launch your MIP. That is what is MIP? The Moon Impact Probe. Then what is the major scientific output of the Chandrayaan? Water is there on the moon. That is accepted even by NASA. Okay. Yeah. So what do we do with satellites? So once the launch vehicle puts the satellite in space, we can do Earth observations, study characteristics of other planets, communications, military applications, weather, navigation, and so on. So these are the Indian weather satellites which have been launched. Yeah, this is the website of the India Meteorological Department. You can go and you can see that a lot of improvements are taking place. This is a typical picture. Professor Krishnamurthy already talked to you about this. So there are you have visible image, you have got infrared image, you have got microwave image, and so on. Quickly, the visible image, the problem is it's available only between 6 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the evening. If you want to know how the clouds are evolving in the night, you need to have infrared camera. But infrared cannot penetrate clouds. Therefore, you go for microwave. Microwave E is equal to h nu, the energy is so less, therefore you cannot put it in a geostationary orbit. If you cannot put it into geostationary orbit, you can put it only into low Earth orbit. If you put only into a low Earth orbit, it will see India only 2 hours a day. So that means we require 12 satellites, or all the countries should cooperate and say that we'll all sign an agreement, you give your data, I'll give my data. That's what we are doing. That is the GPM. So that is the Global Precipitation Mission, where there will be one mother satellite, there will be children satellites. All the countries will sign an agreement, then we'll share data, and eventually we'll be able to get an accurate estimate of what is happening, the clouds, the rains, the monsoons, the cyclones, and so on. Okay. So this is only the tip of the iceberg. There are millions of exciting stuff in mechanical engineering. So mechanical engineering is forever exciting. Whoever wants, please come and be a part of this excitement. Thank you.
You have any questions?
Please ask questions for which I know the answer. Yeah. No, go ahead. No, that launching pattern, right? No, it's basically the various sequence, right? So first you have to cross the 180, 30 kilometers, 80 kilometers, 150 kilometers, then there will be a trajectory, then there will be telemetry control. Hang on, there will be telemetry control at Hassan, where you can give telemetry signals and you can make it change its track, and then at regular intervals of time you will say this stage, fourth stage will separate, third stage will separate, and so on. But the GSLV has to have, you are taking it to 2,000, you are taking it to 36,000 kilometers. Therefore, it has to be heavy. Therefore, the fuel tank, everything is heavy. So if something goes wrong, there is enough chance for GSLV to fail. Are you getting the point? Because you are, and then apart from the fuel and all this, you put the satellite also, isn't it? In fact, you can have a nuclear warhead also if you want.
Yeah, there.
Last question.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's a good question. But the hope is eventually these satellites which are pushed into the graveyard orbit will hit some meteorite and some debris will fall over the place, or debris will be there in the space. Now we are not worrying. So we are pushing it into 45,000. That's agreed internationally. USA, USSR, Japan, India, all of them are. That's a good question. But many satellites which are pushed to the graveyard orbit will eventually hit a meteorite somewhere, and they'll just crumble into pieces. Okay.
We thank Professor Balaji for an excellent lecture, and on behalf of the organizers, I present a small memento.